And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another weekend edition here of the OSC Rising Star Tournament number 17, day number 4. I'm of course OSC VIP. With you, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one all to the fourth day, to the fourth week of OSC. Again, for those that are curious, this tournament is a tournament designed to feature and showcase the rising players amongst all the regions here. So we have players from Korea, players from Europe, players from the Americas as well, all competing to face off and become the new season's Rising Star. Let's go. Again, this tournament is restricted, and players that have achieved too many accolades, players that are a little bit too high when it comes to their results, players like Beyond, players like Max, Clem, Hero, etc., are excluded from this tournament. Instead, this does give an opportunity for the other up-and-comers to compete amongst themselves. And I mean, they're still really strong players, don't get me wrong, still amazing players in their own right. Speaking of, we do have our first series of the broadcast, Jumy versus HiGhDrA. We're going to be featuring players like Jumy, HiGhDrA, players like Young Yakov and Baby Marine, Shameless, Percival, UD Soldier, Prome. We have 5 best of 3s ready for you here in the broadcast. Let's go. We have our 5 best of 3s. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Esther Warehog in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 14 months. 14 months of subscribing, 12 months in a row. A year, over a year of support, over a year, papi, over a year. 2 more years of casting, see, papi, see. all the years, papi, all the years. Will always be there, always, for StarCraft, But otherwise, thank you so much for subscribing, and we are jumping into our initial PvP of the broadcast. Coming into this, HiGhDrA, of course, he is hot off the heels of an epic LAN win. HiGhDrA, while all these other players were traveling to the Americas for SC for All and for the Canadian tournament Stellarfest, we had HiGhDrA traveling to the UK to win and to claim victory over at Epic LAN. So HiGhDrA has had his own accolades, his own wins here in recent times, and now he faces off against Jumy. Let's go. Let us go. So jumping into our PvP. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss from the land of the Netherlands. It is HiGhDrA. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Streamer Zone. It is Jumy. And if you're in the chat, predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PvP. Here we go. Again, the first of many best of 3s here in today's broadcast. Of course, last night we were live with the RSL, with the Rival StarCraft League Season 3 playoffs with the grand finals. It was a very intense tournament, a very long tournament as well. I'm giga tired. We got like what, 4 hours sleep? We have slept for 4 hours, and we have a lot of StarCraft today. After this cast, of course, we have another cast later on this evening. In around 8 hours. 10 hours. In 10 hours from this message, we're going to be live with our next broadcast, which will be the second half of day 4, which will be more OSC Elite Rising Star casts, more matches, more upcoming. So again, we will get there later on tonight. Again, that's going to be in 10 hours. And then we have day 5 tomorrow. Let's go, buddy, let's go. For now, 2-gate open out of Jumy, 2-gate open out of HiGhDrA. Jumy does go for the gateways here further back in his own main. Interesting variation here out of Jumy. Basically what is occurring here is standard openers, mirrored builds, but Jumy is going for the gateways further back. As opposed to HiGhDrA has the added benefit of having SimCity now, so he can easily wall up and wall off against harassing Adept Shades. Meanwhile, Jumy doesn't have that luxury, but he has some other advantages. The plus side of going for your site defense this far back, one, it does mean that if your opponent's going for an all-in, it means your production isn't exposed. Otherwise, the gateways, the pylons, all of that will be exposed here at the ramp. The other thing here is that this is technically more efficient. The time it takes for the probe to throw down a building and then go back to mining is shorter, right? The distance is shorter here for Jumy as opposed to HiGhDrA, which is further out. So technically, Jumy has a slightly better economy because he's been able to go back to mining slightly faster as well, and his production is going to be slightly safer as well. But he is vulnerable to adepts, he's vulnerable to harass. It means that his SimCity is going to be lacking in the near future back at home. So there's a bit of a give and take. We have our first units here going to be double sentry. Interesting, out of HiGhDrA. Okay, so it does go double sentry. I'm sorry, he went sentry expand, I believe, so faster Nexus from HiGhDrA. Likewise, Jumy also going for... There we go. Jesus. I think they were flipped. But Jumy also going for his own base as well after the 2-gate opener. Selling into our initial units. Again, double sentry here by HiGhDrA. We have the sentry into a delayed stalker here from Jumy, but again, just edging out a faster base. So overall, we're calming down. We do have Jumy going for the Twilight Council as a tech of choice. Meanwhile, we had HiGhDrA going for the faster Robo into Twilight Council as well. So we're selling into the mid-game. There's been no proxies, no shenanigans, no aggression here, which is a breath of fresh air. We were casting quite a lot of PvPs over the course of the weekend in RSL, and especially amongst the Korean Protosses, this is a high octane matchup. But here, when it comes to the Europeans, we often do slow things down getting into the mid-game. I say that Twilight Council is finishing up. Show us the Dark Shrine. Huh. As the proxy is complete and HiGhDrA is hiding his tech, what's it going to be? Again, we're expecting a Dark Shrine here. We have the prison that's on the way. HiGhDRA's waiting for extra minerals. And there it is. There it is. There's that Dark Shrine. Meanwhile, we have the Hallucination Scout out of Jumy. Does scout the Robo, the Twilight Council, the 2 gateways as well. Doesn't see much else yet. We do see Glaives beginning here, but I believe this should be a fake out for HiGhDRA, just trying to show off an upgrade when really there is none. Meanwhile, Jumy going for his own proxy. How many gateways? I believe, yep, 2 at home, 1 across the map, so we're 3 gates out up here. A much more aggressive start from Jumy, and you can see here we go, we're warping in the depths as we speak to harass across the map, but where is the detection? That is the biggest concern, because we should be seeing some Dark Templar soon. The Dark Shrine was delayed a little bit. Back at home, Jumy has nothing to detect. He will have a forge, so technically he can make some cannons, but cannons, you don't often get them this early on, no without good reason, and without cannons, Jumy might just die. Might just GG out. Reminder, there's no Robo. There's no Robo, there's no Stargate, no Oracle, no Observer. Cannons are the only form of detection. Dark Shrine is done. Where are the DTs? At the same time, it does they get in. Ooh, they do get into the main base. Probes are going down. This is going to be a lot of damage so far. 4 probe kills. Can he get up to 5? Shades into the natural and gets 1 more. 5 probes go down. Very nice damage so far. DTs, they warp right in, which means now Jumy has time to react. Here we go. Cannons are on the way, but they just started. Yeah, they just began. No, you cannot block. That's a kill on the cannon. DTs, they get into the mineral line. At the same time, with Eps, they don't quite shade into the natural. Yeah, don't quite shade in, but this is already critical damage here. 0 mining in the main base for Jumy. Probes are going down. Jumy, he's all in. He's rallying everything across the map, and Jumy will lose everything, or at least he should. Yeah, he will. He's gonna lose everything. He's forced all in. Back at home, we need shield batteries. HiGhDRA getting a 3rd base is greedy. This is a greedy start here from HiGhDRA. HiGhDRA, he has to cancel. We're gonna warp in as much as we can. And DTs is still wreaking havoc. There we go, some hallucinations. Let's go. That's a lot of stalkers though. Yeah, Jumy goes to the dive, takes down the first immortal, and HiGhDRA is banking resources. Where are the warp-ins? Yeah, it's been banking. Has to pull the boys. It's gonna be a shaky defense here for HiGhDRA. The gateway's gonna get depowered. Does he have any other gateways? No. No shot. 0 gateways. 0 warp-ins for HiGhDRA. This should not be happening. Again, the DT across the map, he's not quite killing the workers. We have a little bit more mining here, but last no production for Jumy except for the 1 gateway. And Jumy might just win, to be honest. What do we have? We have 2 sentries in the depth. But we still have, what, 8 stalkers. Yeah, Jumy pokes in. Again, he's still losing everything across the map, but kind of. I mean, you can see here some miscontrol here out of HiGhDRA. DT's walking back home. DT's late. Defensive DTs is all we needed, but again, HiGhDRA was missing warp-ins. He was missing warp-ins. Down to 7 stalkers. 7 stalkers left. Where's the Dark Templar? Now he shows up, but now there's an observer. Now there's detection. Messy reaction, messy defense here from HiGhDRA. A defensive DT would have done so well for him, because up until this point there was no detection. That's all he needed. 1 defensive DT. Okay, he does have the immortal. Immortal pops out. Detection is available, and Jumy, he should have enough micro here to deal with this army. I mean, killing the immortal is not going to be easy. But HiGhDRA is down to 9 probes. Down to 9 workers. Dives on the Immortal. Nice target firing out of HiGhDrA. Very nice. Jesus. Get the most you can out of this. Just a little DT across the map. But there's still some mining technically. And we're down to 3 Stalkers. Yeah, HiGhDrA who lose every single probe. Here comes a warp in. Okay, HiGhDra's got a prism. He can micro. I don't lose all the probes though. Yeah, more Stalkers do reinforce. Prism goes down, and Jumy's done it. Jumy has done it. This was HiGhDra's game, by the way. This was HiGhDra's game, but he did a fumble in the response. GG gets called, and Jumy takes game number 1. GG. Aye. GG well played. Again, HiGhDrA, he did fumble in the defense. All he needed was 1 defensive DT. 1 warp in, 1 defensive DT. That would have been it. That would have been game because there was 0 detection. We saw there was an observer at the end of the game, but that was at the very end after all the damage was done, after all the chaos was ensuing. Again, defensive DTs would have been amazing there. On top of that, we were missing warp ins. There were only 2 gateways, right? Only 2 gateways for HiGhDrA. He was making immortals, yes, but he was lacking shield batteries, lacking warp ins. He was banking up minerals. Didn't really have much gas to work with, which is why he was hurting a little bit, but GG. GG well played. Jumy, he was able to bring it back from the brink of defeat, and with that, Jumy takes a lead. Now we're jumping into game number 2. Let's go. We're jumping into game 2. And again, HiGhDrA, he had it, papi. Strategically, HiGhDrA had one, but the execution there was lacking, and now we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate, we have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss from land of the Netherlands. It is a HiGhDrA. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss. Representing Streamer Zone, it is Jumy. Here we go. Let's get into our PvP. And Jumy does take a lead again from the brink of defeat. He was able to bring it back, able to micro his heart out, able to be hyper-aggressive golden across the map. And thankfully for Jumy, there were no defensive Dark Templar. There was only the 1 Immortal, barely any gateway units. And Jumy did overwhelm. If you recall, that was also HiGhDrA being greedy. HiGhDrA was getting a 3rd base as well during the defense. Aye. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Share, man. Top there. So now, once again, 2 gates. A 2-gate open out of HiGhDrA, 2-gate open out of Jumy. Probes are being sent out, and my eyes are on HiGhDrA. Once again, he does veer off towards the left-hand side. Once again, looks like he wants to hide a pylon. Here towards the left-hand side, this is a prime location for a proxy Stargate. So we could go for Stargate play. There's a pylon. Could also be a fake out. True. As Jumy comes in for the scouts, the pylon is left alone. The probe does abandon this, so fake pylon, fake proxy out of out of HiGhDrA. Bearing in mind that Jumy did probe scout, and Jumy knows that a pylon is missing. You know, he's like, hold up, pylon is not where it should be, as he can compare with his own. And that means there's a higher chance that there's going to be something elsewhere on the map. And Jumy's looking. See here, checking the center left-hand side, and he is not poised to find it. Sends out a 2nd probe on the right, so this is already doing more damage here. Jumy has 2 probes scouting, whereas HiGhDrA only has 1. So technically, HiGhDrA has the better economy, the slightly better economy. As HiGhDrA has 1 extra probe mining. Jumy still scouring the map, checking the more common Stargate location, checking the common Robo locations as well. And finally,
is being downsized.
Finally, Jumy, he will find the pylon. So he knows. We'll lose a worker. Again, was a little bit more inefficient, but he does find the pylon. He's not where he's safe. Oh, missing control of HiGhDrA. No! Yeah, wasn't paying attention. 1 Stalker will get picked up. Massive pickup here. Late reactions out of HiGhDrA, and Jumy's moving in. Jumy went for a defensive robot himself, so Jumy can turn this defense into an offense. He's got a proxy pylon across the map, and Jumy, he's pushing in. He's just rallying everything across the map, and HiGhDrA, he's in danger here. He's about to run out of shield battery energy. Lose one Stalker. One Stalker does get away. Pylon is complete, but no gateway. And Jumy expands. So Jumy is not going for the one-way soul in. He is still reinforcing across the map, but he's chilling, he's expanding. A later expansion made to HiGhDrA. Jumy is committed. Up. Getting on top of the sentry. Attempts to shade into the main base. Thankfully, there is some SimCity here. HiGhDrA does react. Here we're still poking in. Double it up towards the bases. Jumy still saturating. And the game does continue. I mean, so far, HiGhDrA, he does have a very healthy lead. You can see HiGhDra's on 39 workers compared to the 31 of Jumy. This all comes down to the faster expansion, and this all comes down to the fake outs. Remember, early on, Jumy believed that it was a proxy, that it was an all-in, so Jumy was getting ready for it. He was desperate to scout, desperate to be aggressive, and in the end, he didn't really achieve too much. So he slips into the main. Slips into it, second one-shot probes. They can and they will. 1, 2, 3, getting into 4 probes. Can we get 5? Oh, not quite, but 4 probes do go down. Nice pickups here out of Jumy. Denies mining as well. And just like that, Jumy is recovering. Jumy is catching back up. Now, of course, HiGhDrA has had more mining for longer, and HiGhDrA is now going to be capitalizing on that better economy with a 3rd base. So HiGhDrA is building up into the mid game. Jumy back at home, he's going to have the faster +1, faster upgrades. I mean, faster +1 at least. Later, Twilight Council. Let's go back into the main. Once again, headed for the mineral line. Once again, probes should be going down. Gets 1. Gets 2. Shades in. 3. Getting into 4. Do we get another? Do we get 5 more probes? He does. Yeah, 5 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. 9 probe kills in total. And Jumy, he has recovered at this point. Has recovered economically. He's been building up this army this entire time. +1 is soon to finish. Blink is going to be more delayed here, and it's going to slow Jumy down. Just wait for Blink. But Jumy, he throws in 2 more gateways. So 2 more gateways, getting to 4. Yeah, 4 in total. And it's going to be a difficult defense here for HiGhDrA. Assuming that the Prism comes in, we reinforce and we just rally.
Drop everything! Your units are getting killed!
Jumy checks for the 3rd. Confirms. It's the 3rd base. And here comes Jumy. HiGhDrA taking towards glaives and +1, but again, these upgrades are late. They're later upgrades. He's pushing. When it comes to the sides of the army, again, it is in favor of Jumy. Blink is not yet done. Oh, gets called down. 3 Stalkers. Yeah, 3 Stalkers are free. Very nice force fields out of HiGhDrA. Jumy Punisher going in without Blink. He has his own counter force fields. Locks down a couple of Stalkers. Oh, locks down an Immortal. Yeah, the Immortal will get picked up. Just barely goes down. Meanwhile, HiGhDrA is running out of force fields. Jumy's going in once again, does lock down the army. Nice force field, zoning away some of the stalkers, zoning away the adepts, the boys being pulled, and Jumy, he's doing it. He's breaking through, better concave. The immortal goes down, Jumy still has all three of his own. And GG. GG, well played. HiGhDrA, now the keyboard, baby, the keyboard. But GG, and with that, Jumy will take the series 2-0. Will advance on into the next round. GG. GG, well played. Again, I'm sure a frustrating series here for HiGhDrA. HiGhDrA was, again, like game one was in the bag. Like game one should have been HiGhDRA's game, but he did fumble the defense. With that, he did start with a deficit. Coming into game number 2 here, HiGhDRA also had the better economy as well. He was in a better game state, but his defense was lacking, referring to the adept defense. Adepts that were able to get 4 and then 5 probe kills, 9 in total, just brutal damage dealt in the main base. With that, Jumy was able to recover economically and then hit that +1 timing, right? Hit that upgrade timing, that upgrade lead. HiGhDRA, of course, was more vulnerable to that. He went for a greedier build. Remember, HiGhDRA had a 3rd base. Jumy was 2 base all in. Jumy, he was 2 base all in. HiGhDRA was expanding. HiGhDRA was building up. HiGhDRA was getting ready for a longer game. Jumy was not. GG. GG, well played. With that, Jumy does claim the series, and now we're getting ready for our next matchup. Up next is going to be Young Yakov versus Baby Marine. Oh boy, it's going to be a ZBT